The Promise We Broke, Chapter 1. People say poverty destroys love, but sometimes love survives poverty and dies the moment success arrives. This is a story of a promise two people swore they would never break. Rainwater dripped steadily from the rusty roof of a small apartment as Tunde adjusted the bucket placed in the corner of the room. The power supply had gone off. "NEPA don't try for us today," he muttered with a tired smile. Amara laughed softly from the mattress on the floor where she sat cross-legged, arranging the meat pie she had baked earlier that morning. "At least rain is falling," she replied. "Maybe God still remembers the poor." Tunde looked at her and shook his head. "You always find something to laugh about." "That is because if I start crying, I may never stop." For a moment, silence filled the room, except for the sound of rain hitting the zinc. The apartment was small. One room, a tiny kitchen space, and a bedroom outside, shared with three other tenants. The paint on the wall had faded long ago, and the ceiling fan only worked when electricity decided to show mercy. But somehow, whenever Amara was around, the place felt warmer. Tunde sat beside her. "How many did you sell today?" Amara sighed. "Only 7. That's bad. People are managing these days." Tunde lowered his head in frustration. 3 years after graduation, he was still struggling to find stable work. Every morning, he left home with faded certificate inside a black file, returning in the evening with the same disappointed expression. Sometimes, transport fare was the only thing standing between him and a job interview. Yet, Amara never complained. She sold snacks in front of the pharmacy during the day and braided hair on weekends to support both of them. "Tunde," she said quietly, "you will succeed one day." He forced a smile. "Everybody says that." "No," she replied firmly. "I know it." He stared at her for a while. There were days he wondered why she stayed. Amara came from a better family. Her mother owned a fabric shop, and several men with cars had asked for her hand in marriage before she chose him, a struggling man with empty pockets and overloaded dreams. Sometimes even his own friend mocked him. "Love no dey survive poverty," they would say. But Amara never listened. That evening, she brought out a small nylon bag from her handbag. "I brought rice." Tunde looked surprised. "With what money?" "The money I made from air this afternoon." "You should have kept it for yourself and watch you pretend you're not hungry." Tunde looked away, ashamed. As Amara stood up to enter the kitchen corner, she suddenly held her hand. "Amara," she turned. "When things finally get better for me," he paused, "I will never forget everything you did for me." She smiled gently. "You better not." "No, I'm serious." The rain intensified outside. Tunde tightened his grip on her fingers. "I promise, no matter what happened in this life, I would never leave you behind." Amara stared at him for a few seconds before stretching out her little finger. "Promise?" Tunde hooked up his finger with her. "Promise." Neither of them knew that something promises are easier to make during hardship than to keep when life finally changes. The night while rain washed the streets outside, the hope filled their tiny room. Neither Tunde nor Amara knew that this promise could be tested. Someone from Tunde's past was already finding ways back into his life. To get part 2 of the story, subscribe to Segxifeild Real Life Story on YouTube and follow our page on Facebook and TikTok, Segxifeild Real Life Story.